Hello, welcome to the live show for Brisingr. I'm joined by my friend Erin. Again, she's been joining me for all of these books. And just a warning from the beginning, this is going to be a spoilery chat. This is the third book in a series, so you can't really not give spoilers at this point. But yeah, yay! I don't have the cover because I'm in a different town and it's at home. So. Whew. Okay, you finished it quite a while before I finished it, I think.
Well, yeah, now that we've been doing this, I'm on a roll. So.
Have you finished the next book?
No, I'm only about halfway through. So
Okay, fair enough.
Have you?
No, I have not finished it. I actually only finished this one, I think, on Friday. No, I think it was yesterday. I think I finished it yesterday morning.
Nice. Oh, so fresh.
Yeah, I know it is. It's like very fresh in my mind. This one I stretched out more than the others, though. Like the other two, I binged, and this one I kind of lasted.
I'm so impressed with how fast you're able to binge. Like you can.
I like binging.
I think I'm moving fast, and I finished these in like a week, and you're like, "Oh, I did that on Saturday." What?
I just feel like I enjoy binging books. Like that's my preferred reading method. Yeah. So, Brisingr, third book in the series. Things are like getting pretty intense at this point. What did you think?
You know, I think I'm enjoying them more and more each time. I think with the characters' growth, Aragon's, Roran's, like I agree with their decisions more. I scoff at them a little bit less, and so that makes it even more fun.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like it's the books are maturing a little, probably as the author did.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm liking the books more and more as they go on. So like, I love the first one. Don't get me wrong, and the first one probably has the most nostalgia. But yeah, I love how much more details we get to. I feel like he gives us more time with the different characters and in the different situations. So we just gotta get like more time to really get invested in this world. And I don't know. I feel like I care more about characters when I have time to just kind of sit with them in their lives and get to know them more. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because the first one, it was very, plot moving forwards. And these ones are a little more, marinate in the day-to-day. And this is the slow evolution of this big war.
Yeah. When you think about it, though, it's like actually been very fast. Like if wars are not that quick, I don't think. Like, I mean, I feel like when you think back on how long wars are, they seem to be like years long, right? I don't think this one has even lasted a year yet. Right? Like, am I mistaken?
Yeah, it is true. Like Katrina said that, like, oh, if the war's still going on when I have this baby, then I'm gonna have to move away. And they're like, yeah, that's a reasonable deadline.
I know. I was like, is it really that fast? Because I don't think it's that fast.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it is a little faster because they're like coming from both sides a little bit, but I don't know. It takes a long time to move armies from place to place. Like this is a very slow process. And because they were talking about how they were going to move on Feinster, right? But they were just like over, I think they were on the other side of the Jeet River. And they're like, yeah, so you probably have like 4 days. I'm like, 4 days? Like, you're moving an army and it's going to take you that long? Like,
it took the entire first book to move from Palancar Valley to the Varden.
Right? The second book, but yeah. And that was like just the village.
Yeah, no, I mean, when Aragon moved, like...
Oh, like, yeah. Yeah, and that was just like the tiny amount of people.
Yeah.
So I was like, but in all fairness, like, we can let some of those things go. It's not as big of a deal, but I was just like, I don't think your timelines are lining up the way that you think they are.
Yeah, and definitely Paolini likes to do those like epic battles. Like every book has at least one that's supposed to be like almost the big battle at Gondor and level
I
stage.
really like it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my style in books, because Brandon Sanderson does that too, and he's one of my favorite authors. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's my style. I enjoy that.
Anyways, he has to keep the war moving so that we can have more big conflicts like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then like fair enough. Like I don't question it too much, right? It doesn't pull me out of the story, but I'm just like, I think not. What other things? Okay, the beginning when they go to Hellgrind. He took a staff and not a sword. Really?
Right. Last time you faced the Razak, you're like, wow, this was kind of humbling. And I've realized that maybe I'm not as tough as I thought I was. They're actually a worthy opponent. And then a few months later, let's go with a walking stick.
Staff into their territory where there's 4 of them and 3 of us, one of whom is a human who is like, Roran's great. We love him, but he is not on their level. Right? Like, and he's more susceptible to like their magic. So I'm just like, I would have brought a sword. I would have.
Yeah, he's gotten a little cocky there at the beginning, I think.
I know. I was like, what are you doing? Like, don't.
Yeah. And then, okay, what did you think about his decision to keep the butcher,
Sloane,
to keep him being alive secret from Roran and Katrina?
I don't think that was his choice to make, personally. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that he can't take that onto himself to say that, oh, I'm just going to lie to him, tell him he's dead, but he's going to be alive. Like, I don't think that's his place.
Right. I entirely agree. I mean, Katrina's just been through a whole ordeal. Like, yes, this might be a little bit more emotional stress, but if she can handle all that she's already done, torture, imprisonment, she can probably know about her dad, and it might even give her a little bit of comfort. And by not telling them, he's created this big potential wedge for when they find out years down the line that he was lied about it. And like, that could be family disintegrating later because he didn't.
Yeah, because he made Sloane swear not to contact Katrina or Roran, but he didn't make him swear not to contact their children. So I think Sloane is smart, and down the line he might contact their children, and then they'll be like, whoa.
Yeah, I think if he's sending him to Elismera now that Roran is so like intimately involved with Aragorn's life, like odds are at some point he's gonna find out.
Yeah.
And you're right, Sloane is smart.
Yeah, and also I think him staying behind to kill the last Razak might have been worth it. That part I get, but staying behind because of Sloane, I think was the stupidest decision he made. Like, if you don't want to kill him yourself, you can make the decision to leave him. You can make the decision to set him free, or you can kill him, but I do not think he should have stayed behind. Like, he's more important than Sloane.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think this is maybe a theme, as Aragorn sometimes has trouble with the big picture.
Yeah. And like, I get his hesitation to like be the executioner. Like, I do get that. Because he's like, I just don't feel like I'm that person. Like, that's fair enough, but you don't stay behind to save his life. And like, he almost got killed. Like, dude was getting out of Hellgrind. He almost got killed. Like, he used up all his strength, and like, people were coming. What are you doing?
Yeah. And, the same hubris he's trying to avoid by not making himself the executioner is the same hubris he just fell victim to by like, oh, I know better than Roran and Katrina on what to do with him.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the problem is with Aragorn partly is Saphira loves him so much, and like, she'll kind of tell him like, I don't agree with you, but she always does end up supporting him, which I do think she should. Like, I do like that. But then like, all the people around him, even if they don't agree, they'll tell him, but then they just kind of like move on from it, right? They're just like, oh, okay, whatever, onward. And I'm like, he never really gets told like, this is not okay. You need to stop doing this. Because he does it all the time.
Which, given his position, is not all that surprising. He doesn't get told no. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Alienate this super powerful guy who you need to win the war.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you give a teenager absolute power, or not absolute, but
Pretty close.
yeah, then you're going to be victim to their whims, and no one's going to correct them.
Right, which is like, I think we need Angela on his case more. I feel like she's the only one who's like, no, don't be dumb. You're stupid.
Yeah, she could totally be the maternal figure there.
Right. But yeah, I don't agree with his choice to stay with Sloane. Like, I don't necessarily disagree with his choice not to kill Sloane, but I do not agree with his choice to stay. Like, if he had been killed, like, what would that have done to Saphira? Like, that's not okay. He didn't even consult her in it. Like, that is not okay at all.
Mm-hmm. That's true. With how deep their bond is, they need to be talking about everything. And every time he's been like, Saphira, trust me, is when he's about to do something really, really dumb.
Right. And every time he's like, trust me, I'm like, I would not trust you. I would not trust you at all, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're like partners, Saphira and Aragon, but she's also kind of like a mom too. Like, he's the little one. She feels protective because he just like stumbles around and gets into trouble.
I know. Yeah. So no, I don't agree with that. I don't have a problem with him like sending him to Elismira or any of that. Like, that's not the point. The point is, like, he thought he was like so much above Rowan and Katrina, he could decide not to tell them. And then he like risked literally everything to save this guy's life. And like, he wasn't even just not killing him. He was like full on saving his life.
Yeah, it would be totally fine to just let Sloane sit in the consequences of his actions.
Yeah, just like leave him in Helgar and be like, find your way out. I set him free, give him some provisions, and just like, you're on your own. Here's my staff, go. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, he might die, but like, what else are you supposed to do?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you could send people back after him later too if you wanted. Like, you might not find him, but you could try.
Right. Yeah. If your conscience is really eating at you. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is an important expositionary part to demonstrate that you can change your true name, and so I think that's part of why we had to do it this way, so that we could set that up to talk about it for other characters.
Mm. One of my other weird things that when I was reading it is when he finds out that there's so much power in Brom's ring. Mm-hmm. Why didn't Brom use that power to heal himself? Because they talk about how Brom couldn't cast stronger spells because he wasn't powerful enough. But if he had all that power at his disposal from the ring, he should have been able to heal himself because he had the power, right? Like, it's a power thing. So if he had it all, why couldn't he heal himself?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I'm trying to remember now when he did get hurt. Was he lucid? Like, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was, because remember, he like rubbed off his palm and like showed it to Aragon and talked him through that he was a rider and all that stuff. And he was alive for a few days, I think. Mm-hmm. I can't remember exactly how long, but it wasn't fast. It wasn't like he got stabbed and died.
Right.
Like, I think he died of infection more than anything, it seemed like.
Mm-hmm. I did get a similar impression to that he lingered for a while.
Like, he was obviously lost too much blood and injured and stuff, so then the infection killed him easier. But yeah, that was kind of like my impression. So I was like, why wouldn't you use all that power? Because Arya's talking about it like it's a huge amount of power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not heal yourself? Like, you're super important.
Right. Yeah. If it's really functionally unlimited power, I mean, not exactly, but if there's so much, then probably the small amount it would take to heal you to get rid of the E. coli infection is going to be.
Right. Exactly. Like, I just feel like he should have healed himself and then he could restore it later. Like, if you are still alive, you should have time, right, to restore the stuff that you took.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Aragon definitely could have benefited from some additional mentorship for a few more years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, especially when he was going into the Varden. He was like, that was a horrible situation for him, right? But if Brom would have been with him, bringing him in, he would have been in such a great position.
Right.
Because Braum would have been able to help him, because Braum has more power there than anyone else. Like, they can pretend like Ajihad does, but I bet you anything, if Braum was like, nope, I want to do this instead, like, Ajihad could not say no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think you're right. He's got, with Braum vouching, he's
Yeah.
gonna be just fine.
Plus, then the twins wouldn't have gone into his mind. They never would have dared to do that. He would have been able to continue his training with Braum, right? Then they could have like brought him to Oramus and Glader as well, and they could have worked together to help train him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, okay, Braum, maybe a little miscalculation there on your priority.
Right? Like, I honestly think it's a plot hole. Like, I think that Christopher Paolini didn't even think about it when he made this a thing.
Maybe.
So, is that your puppy?
That's the puppy.
Aww. Love it.
Yeah, she's needy.
Of course she's needy. She's a puppy. She should be needy.
Yeah, it's a good thing she's really cute.
Yeah. That's why they're cute.
Okay, so yeah, then when Aragon's on his way back from Sloane and the Razak, he meets that really cool magician wizard guy in this little hovel. Could have been such an interesting interaction.
It was like nothing.
This guy is weird, and he sneaks out the back.
I know, I found that the weirdest situation. I was like, okay, what just happened?
Right, like it's got to come back around, or else it's just the most random little situation.
I feel like I don't remember. Like, I almost feel like what's happening is they're trying to play up Angela a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
As like she's much more powerful than we think she is.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely weaving that web of mystery around her.
Yeah. Or then like the spirits just kind of come out of nowhere and stuff. I'm like, that was also so random. It was like that trip back was just full of the most random stuff. Like, what is happening? Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which that was interesting too. He met the spirits, and then his next big question of Oramus and Glader is like, how do I become a shade? And
a sorcerer, yeah. Yeah, and Oramus is like, please no.
Change of topic.
We do something else. Like, come on. Oh my gosh. Oramus and Glader, worst death ever. I almost died. Like,
oh yeah, I bawled.
I cried.
Uh-huh.
That was the worst. That was the worst one out of the like whole series. Right. Like, Braum was really, really bad, but it was like towards the beginning more, right? I feel like you're so much deeper and more invested in, and now I'm just like, no.
Right. Oh, and like witnessing the anguish as he was now in the heart of hearts, and they really set that up too. Like, oh, they have nothing but their grief in this void. And, oh my gosh.
So sad. And I mean, I do understand why they did it. I get why they went out to fight, right? They didn't want to like hide, they wanted to help, but I don't know. This is one thing that I wanted to ask you. Like, do you think that was the right decision for them to go out and fight instead of staying in Elismira?
I mean, I think their reasoning was good, that they'd been waiting for so long so that they could train the next rider. They thought Aragon was sufficiently established, but that the reasons they had for staying put were not strong enough to override that this is now the moment to make our big stand against Galbatorix. So, it was tragic how it turned out, but I think it was the right thing to do.
See, I don't think it was the wrong thing to do necessarily, but I think like strategically, I don't think they should have done it. And weirdly enough, I think I would have agreed with it more if Oramus had not gone and they would have put like the most powerful elf spellcaster, their best fighter, their best spellcaster on Glader, which I know you're not supposed to do. Like, I know that's not like how it works with dragons and riders, but like in practicality, putting someone on there who can't fight is dangerous. And you're pretty much sacrificing Glader because he's going to do everything in his power to save Ormus, and Ormus is a liability. Like, I know that's horrible to say, but he is. Like, he can't fight against someone like Murtagh, who they know has way, way more power than them, right? Like, they know how much power he has. They know Ormus can't stand up against it. And then they're in this situation where everyone who knows all this information about dragons and riders, and like, he's the last one. And they think that they're never going to be able to like pass it on, right? Because all of the Eldunari are held by Galbatorix. And so like there's no one else. What if Aragon dies? Like,
Yeah.
it's gone. Like, it's totally gone. And he's not going to help. Like, Glader could help. Ormus couldn't. And I stand by that. I love Ormus, don't get me wrong. I like adore Ormus. He is amazing. And like, but yeah, I don't think he should have gone out to fight. I think he was not the right person for that. And I think them sticking to their traditions of dragon and rider and not allowing other people to fight on their backs was probably more a liability than like a good choice.
And that might be right. I don't know if we can change the, I don't know, sacred bond of dragon and rider. Like, it's maybe demeaning to be ridden by someone else. I don't know. But
maybe, but are you willing to put your pride before the fate of your entire world?
Yeah, no, I think you make a valuable point that, I mean, with Aragon bumbling into trouble every moment, we do kind of need a backup.
We really, and plus, Aragon does not know everything. Aragon doesn't even know like a minuscule amount. He trained with them for 3 months. And Saphira doesn't know everything. Like, she was never around any other dragons. And the very last one that is like actually a normal dragon is going to go off and die, and she's going to be left alone. Like, part of me, and this is like probably kind of weird, but part of me is saying like, you can't have Glader die because then the race ends. Like, you almost need him to survive so they can continue the race of dragons.
Which I know was Saphira's thought when we first met him.
I think that was valid.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she kind of went about it wrong, but I think she kind of had a little but of a valid point there, right?
Yeah, that's true. They may have a responsibility to their race. And
if he doesn't want to, like, again, that's his choice. But if you're like, no, I'm fine with dragons going extinct, then okay. But I highly doubt he felt that way, you know?
Right. It needs to be a conscious choice.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was almost a selfish move on their part for Ormus to go out on Glader.
Yeah, it was
like, I know they were trying to do good, but I just
wasn't cowardly rather than actually.
Like, I that's so crazy, right? Because all along, Aragon's mad they never showed themselves. Naswada's mad they never showed themselves. I think they were so right in their decision to hide. They would have just been wiped out like they were. They were out there for like 2 minutes and they were done. Like, it wasn't even a competition.
Their very first time out, Murdoch shows up and kills them.
Exactly. I'm like, it wasn't even close. Like, this was not a thing. Glader, I think, could have taken on Thorn, fine. But there's absolutely no way Ormus is doing anything against Murtagh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as always, you have a really smart, pragmatic approach to these things.
I should be a general. They should never put me in actual war, though, because I would be useless.
You can be like the armchair generals that.
Exactly. I could be those guys. We were watching Band of Brothers, and I was just like, I'll be sitting in my foxhole crying.
I'm the same way with the war movies. Like, wow, this gives me a whole new appreciation for my life.
Right? The one where the guy's in the hole and then the tree falls on it, and he's like, help me out. I'd be like, leave me in.
I'm safe now.
Exactly. I'm like, no one will know I'm here. I'm covered by a tree. That would be me in war. Oh man. But yeah, I don't think they should have gone out. I do think it's a little bit more acceptable because they gave them Glader's Heart of Hearts, because then like his knowledge will
Right.
endure on with them.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, they don't know how he's going to be able to deal with it, right? Because they even said some dragons can't ever, like, they never can get over the loss of their rider.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't know, like, and so far he's not. Which understandable. Like, I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying, like, you need to think about these things.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, like, yes, we want his wisdom to be immediately accessible to Aragon should he need it. But also, now we have the only person who knows all the rider knowledge with the only Heart of Hearts that has all the dragon knowledge. We should maybe separate those things.
I know. Like, oh my gosh.
You should stay in Ellismere or somewhere similarly safe.
I know. I really do feel like the books, and like I kind of get what he's doing, right? He's trying to make it be like, this is the last stand. If we don't win this one, like we're losing. Mm-hmm. So they're not holding anything back, right? But I'm like, but what if you do win? And then Saphira and Aragon are the only ones left, and that's it. Like, so even winning, the dragons are going to die. Like, you're pretty much setting this up for the dragons to die because they're kind of depending on that last egg. Mm-hmm. Right? They're depending on it. Yeah. But what if Galbatorix is like petty and smashes it? Uh-huh. What if he sees you coming? He knows he's going to lose and smashes it. He would do it. He is a petty, petty man.
Yeah. I mean, we've got hope for Murtagh too. So I guess maybe probably Glader or Oramus weren't thinking about that, but we have an out for him now, a potential out. And
the thing is, though, I blame Thorn a lot less, but with Murtagh, like, I would never trust the dude. Are you kidding me? Like, he knows exactly how much power he's handing to Galbatorix, and he's not willing. Like, Aragon said, he's like, you could have killed yourself. And he's like, nah, I want to live more than I want millions of people to live. I'm like, oh. I mean, I don't know if I could do it, but that's a bold statement. Like, he's killing people, and he knows he's doing it. Like, he's aware of what he's doing. He literally killed Oramus and Glader. And I know Aragon's trying to frame it as Galbatorix is doing it, but he couldn't. Murtagh was there. Murtagh was the one doing it. Thorn was the one attacking Glader. Like,
I mean, okay. So Galbatorix does have his true name, so he has some control over him in that sense. And honestly, when we first meet Murtagh as Galbatorix's servant, and he talks about, is it really worth all this war? Galbatorix has been trying to secure the empire so that we don't need to have war anymore. Like, yes, we see that, like, okay, of course he's going to say that. It's sort of propaganda. But, I mean, also things are sometimes complex. Honestly, we don't know a lot about Galbatorix except that he, we know this history of him turning on the riders, and yes, that's bad. But also he's been kind of hidden away for a long while, and life wasn't too bad. I don't know. I think it's maybe a mistake to look at Galbatorix as absolute evil until we know more about him.
I feel like when you commit a genocide, it almost does feel like you don't have redemption at that point,
Well,
because he killed all the
wild
dragons. Yeah, he killed all the dragons, rider dragons, all of them, except for the ones that would like be his slaves. And he literally called them slaves. Like, that was his words that he used. Mm-hmm. So like, I do feel like there's not much redemption after genocide.
Right. But can we say, okay, he's a bad guy, but still if he controls the empire, it's the absence of war. And I don't know. I think that there could perhaps be arguments too that one could, especially if you've been indoctrinated
Yeah.
believe that what you're doing is right. So I'm.
Murtagh doesn't. Like, he kind of talked about, remember how he was like, I went to see Galbatorix. He said these things. I was like, oh, I see it. Maybe, yeah. And then he's like, then Galbatorix was like, I want you to go murder all these people because they did something that annoyed me. And he's like, whoa, he's a full-on psycho. Right? So Murtagh knows. Like, he knows. And he even said it himself on the Burning Plains. He's like, I don't want to die. Thorn and I want to live. Like, it's not worth it for us to die. It doesn't matter how many lives it'll save. I don't want to die. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, he killed Oramus and Glader. I don't think I could ever forgive that. Like, that's just like the worst thing you can do. And he killed Hrothgar, which was so uncalled for.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
That was like, he did not need to do that. He singled him out.
Mm-hmm.
Not okay.
Yeah.
We loved Hrothgar.
We do love Hrothgar.
So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Murtagh is not a good person. Even if he's not a terrible person, I don't think he's a good person. And granted, he had a rough life. Tons of terrible stuff happened to him. Like, I don't know if you could really expect him to be a good person, but he's not.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the whole point, right? Is you can change your true name. He can change his stripes. Like, I don't know. There could be a redemption arc there somewhere.
You can never bring Oramus and Glader back. Like, there's no going back from that. He killed them and they were my favorite. They're just like, there's reading about them gives me those like the feelings of awe, right? When you read about like this giant gold dragon flying in with this like wise, powerful guy. Like, I don't know. Like, you can't kill those people.
It's true. That was a bad move.
We love them.
We do love them
so much. And like the elves love, like, the elves just love them so much, right? Like, they are so important to them.
Yeah.
I just don't know how the elves will recover.
That's true. I guess that's another big strike against going out, as the hit to morale of the elves as you die.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that was their best move. I get why they're doing it. Like, I feel like a lot of fantasy books do this, and I've noticed it being a trend where like the old wise people kind of all die, and then like the young people come in and like our people start taking their place. Like, Hrothgar got killed, so then we get Oric, right? And like Ajihad got killed, so we get Nasawada, and then Oramus got killed, so now we have Aragon, right? Like, they're filling these spots, and it's a thing. Like, fantasy books do this, and I'm like, I actually dislike it. I love those really old, wise, powerful people, and I think we need to keep some of them around.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's like a nice coming of age sort of thing to have these young people step into the roles. But also, then your whole armies and fate of the world is controlled by a bunch of teenagers.
And I also feel like it's kind of unrealistic that these very powerful, wise people who've been in these like situations and know really well are just like kind of all getting picked off, and then like
flies.
And then like the young people who are like, oh, this is my first battle. Oh no, like they seem to survive. What? Like, I'm sorry. How did Roran survive and freaking Hrothgar didn't? Like, no way.
Yeah. So I adore Roran. I have a huge crush on Roran, but they're definitely making him into like this sort of superhuman. Like,
right. Like, I'm sorry. The Urgle thing.
With the hammer anymore. He's like the Marvel movie guy.
Like, hand-to-hand combat with an Urgle, there is no way. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Right. It'd be like me losing to the 3-year-old or something.
Yeah, you're like, I don't care how smart that 3-year-old is. I'm going to win.
Yes, you have courage. Yes, you have grit. But there's also like physics.
Right? Plus, dude was already injured. Like, he wasn't at his peak. He was actually severely below his peak. 50 lashes, you are going to be in pain. I don't care if they healed you some. There is no way you are quicker and stronger than an Urgle when you've had 50 lashes. Like, you can't convince me otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like every move in your bat, like you can't outmaneuver anybody.
You would be ripping open those. They would be bleeding. You would be in so much pain. You're all greased up. It's going to burn. He's going to touch you. You're going to scream like, ah.
He shouldn't have been out there at all so fast after this.
That was so dumb. Naswada would not do that. She would have healed him completely if she was going to send him back out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she wouldn't risk
a waste to not.
Like, yeah. Like if it's a waste, heal him.
Okay, I don't agree with her giving him the lashes to begin with. I get that you have to like nip insubordination in the bud, but you can give your official tisk in other ways without, you know, whipping the brother of your rider to an inch of his life. Like,
yeah. I also don't agree because I feel like it was very clear that the other guy was making poor decisions and they were going to die. And I don't think any commander is going to call it insubordination if you take over. Like, again, I was watching Band of Brothers, and when the dude was making the bad calls, the guy under him is literally like, he's out, let's go. Like, right? Like, they're like, they followed him for kind of a while, and then they're like, no, you're going to get us all killed. And they're just like, gone. Mm-hmm. Like, it's war, it's so different.
We work in healthcare. There's a culture of safety where you're supposed to be able to question those above you, and it leads to better outcomes. So.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, no way. Like, especially because he was so successful. Oh, is your puppy here?
Puppy.
Hello. Hi, pretty girl. How are you?
Stephanie.
Oh my god. Look how cute you are. Are you just a pretty baby? I'm going to come see you when I go home. Yes.
Yes. We've got so many little like scratches up our arms.
Oh, I bet you do. Oh, but she's so precious.
So cute.
You look like a good girl. Yeah, are you a good girl?
Very good today, generally. Well, I guess Zach ran upstairs with the rug shampooer, so maybe not that great.
Aw, poor baby.
I told me she needed to go to the bathroom. And it was just,
oh, yeah. Sometimes it's hard to tell because she wants attention all the time.
Well, I'm throwing her off a little bit by having you downstairs alone, so I can take the blames.
Yeah. Oh, we've been such pushovers. Like,
oh, I bet.
We're gonna crate train her. She's gonna sleep downstairs. No, it's been like a week and a half, and she sleeps in our bed.
Yeah, I could have told you that was gonna happen, Erin. You're too nice. She would whine for 5 minutes, and you'd be like, I can't do it.
Oh, it's the worst, leaving for work in the morning, and she cries. And...
Oh, poor baby.
Right now.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, speaking of the Roar and Urgle thing, though, I don't think that would have been a problem. I am positive when the Urgles joined with Nasawada, she probably would have made it very, very clear to them that you cannot challenge someone like that to leadership. Like, that's not allowed. And so I just don't think it would have ever been a thing that happened because Nasawada would never have allowed them to join unless they agreed to not do that.
That's true. They got the rights of humans, as in anyone who kills them will be, punished like they killed a person. But that also means they need to work by the human chain of command and rules. Yeah,
exactly. Because they are still under the Varden. Like, it wasn't like they were kind of like allying. They were joining, right? They were going under Nasawada's leadership. So they had to follow those rules. And there's absolutely no way she would allow them to join without saying, you cannot do this. You can't just go killing my men who are leading to take their spot.
Yeah, I mean, if Roar, by taking the challenge, had lost, then we would have been in a bit of a pickle.
Oh, yeah, because Aragon is already iffy about the Urgles. If he would have come back and an Urgle had killed his cousin, the Urgles should probably run fast. Like, just saying. Just leave.
Pretty close to genocide himself.
Saphira would have taken them out. I think she kind of likes to show how powerful she is and just like restrains herself for Aragon.
Yeah, she's definitely proud, Saphira.
Oh, I know. I love it. It's the best. Like, sometimes I feel like dragons in books, they go too far overboard with their pride, but I feel like they do pretty well with it in this one, where it's not too much, but it's like still there. Like, she's so full of herself, and I love it.
First chapter where we do it from Saphira's perspective, and she's flying. She's like, "I am the most beautiful blue creature in the world."
I know, she's like, "I'm the most beautiful creature in the entire world. I mean, no Glader, but he's a man, so that's different. I am the most beautiful." I love it so much. It's the best. Oh.
Yes, elves worship me.
And she's like, "Yeah, look at my scales. They're gorgeous. You should worship me."
Good for her, you know.
I know. I wish I had that confidence.
Which, okay, that's fun too when we read the chapters from the dragon's perspective, and he like just gives that slight change in tone where like they call things by physical descriptions. And
round your two legs.
Yeah, exactly.
Pointy your two legs, round your two legs.
Tall, skinny two legs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, oh, there's the water, and then the sharp rock, bad break bones.
Like, we don't like that. Yeah, no, I actually really like having him from her perspective. I think Saphira is like the best character in this. She's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a really well done character. She's got her own little flaws, I guess, but she's also just grew into wisdom really fast, and
she just doesn't do dumb things much, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's very smart.
Yeah, for sure. She has all the wisdom that Aragorn doesn't have.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, what else am I? Oh, one thing I do have a problem with, though, with everyone apparently, is how much they just like keep from Aragorn. I think it's so mean almost. They're just like treating him like, it's almost like they're not treating him like a regular person, right? They're just like using him for their end. So like, oh, we won't tell him this because like we swore not to, but like, why did Saphira swear not to tell him for like literally ever? Like, why couldn't it have been like after he died, then she could tell? Like,
yeah, that was a massive crisis for Aragorn for like a whole book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like it would be hard to be mentally linked like that, to know this, that could release him from all this inner turmoil and still not.
Yeah, I didn't think that was okay. And I also feel like with the Eldunari, the fact that all three of them knew and Aragorn didn't, I also feel like is kind of like, it's just showing that they see him as the bottom on this totem pole, right? Like, they are up there making like all the decisions and deciding like what's best for him, and he's just like down here and has to deal with it. And like, it'd be different if Saphira didn't know these secrets too. Right. Like, I still don't think it would have been okay, because like poor Aragorn was like struggling, right? But Saphira knew all these secrets too. I don't know how I would trust someone when they're like trying to tell me that I'm the most important person in their world, that they love me so much. And like, yeah, they're just like keeping these secrets, watching me suffer. Like, I don't think I could really trust that they thought I was like their partner in things.
Yeah, it's one thing when it's like politics, like it's not great, but it's not unexpected necessarily. But with Saphira, there should be like perfect two-way trust.
Yeah, because Aragorn, like, he keeps secrets from her to a moment. Like, it'll be like a few minutes, I feel like, and then he does things that she doesn't agree with, which I also don't think is okay. But I feel like he doesn't really keep secrets from her, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, overall, he shares pretty much everything, and those are huge things that she didn't share with him.
Huge things, very pertinent to him.
Right. Even when Aragorn is going through things with her, like, how is Murtagh so strong? How does he have these multiple voices in his head? What does he mean when he's saying my heart's, like, all these things? And she's just like, well, I don't know. Like, she should have been like, you need to ask Oramus, right? She shouldn't have just lied and been like, beats me.
That's a stumper.
I don't think it. I think you do know. Yeah, I think she should have been like, we need to talk to Ormus. Ormus is the one to tell you, like, we need to do this. And then he would have been like, and she's like, yeah, I know. Let's go talk to Ormus,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's things that she can do to not break her oath and still act more on his side.
Yeah. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't necessarily agree with him telling Naswada. I would not have told her.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah, keep this carefully guarded secret. Let's go.
I would have told Arya, but I would not have told Naswada. I don't necessarily trust Naswada, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember you talking about that she has given some little hints like, oh yeah, magic users won't be a problem when I'm in charge.
Yeah. And she's very controlling of Aragon. Like, it's almost like she needs to exert her control over him to prove that she's in control of him sometimes. And I don't like it. Like, I feel like I don't dislike her necessarily, but I would not want her ruling over, like, anyone besides just humans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do think it was very, very rash for him to pledge fealty to Naswada. Like, at that point where we barely knew her, we'd met her like once or twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think it's so strange how Aragon's saying, like, Queen Islanzadi is, like, the one I trust the least out of all of the leaders because she's just so different. And I feel like she's trying. I'm like, I actually think I trust her the most. I trusted Hrothgar a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Warwick I trust, but he's so young and untested, right? So it's very hard to, like, but I did him. But I trust Queen Islanzadi a lot, actually. I feel like she's got some issues when it comes to her and her daughter, but I don't necessarily hold that against her. But, like, when it comes to actual, like, politics and magic and that type of stuff, like, I really trust her.
Centuries of experience, actually.
Right? Exactly. And the elves for so long they haven't tried to dominate any other race. They've stayed in their woods. They're not trying to hurt other people.
It's true. They have like this perfect society. They're perfectly protected. They're safe. There's no discontent with her rule.
Yeah. Whereas there's a ton of discontent in, like, every other place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. I found that so strange when Aragon was saying that. I'm like, what?
Is he a little biased because he likes Arya and they've got some beef?
That's possible, but if I were him, I wouldn't trust Naswada. She has and, like, I get what she's doing because she is in such a precarious position, but, like, if someone was trying to, like, exert their power over me so many times and not listening when I was telling them, like, this is more important, and they're just like, are you going to disobey me? And what? I wouldn't trust that.
Right, and honestly, if I were Aragon, I came back, found out that she whipped my brother 50 times, like, that would be maybe a deal breaker for me.
I think it would definitely be a deal breaker for me. I'd be like, ooh, no.
Oh.
Me. I will be going and healing those right now, and you will never touch him again.
Yeah, exactly. Taking me and mine, and we're going across the Great Sea.
Mm-hmm. And, like, honestly, I feel like if it was Roran who got the egg and not Aragon, he probably would have. He probably would have pulled Katrina onto that dragon and just flown off.
I mean, I think Roran would have been a great writer because he's really risen to all the occasions. But
yeah, I agree.
That's the puppy.
That's not you.
I'm really hungry.
Oh, well, you can go if you need to go hang out with your baby.
Well, maybe
she is kind of attached to you, I think.
A little bit. We're kind of attached too.
Love it.
Okay, maybe I should go.
You're welcome to. I don't want to keep you from her. She needs the attention. Aw, she's so cute. Okay, well, we will go ahead and read Inheritance next. It's the last one. Did you see there's an illustrated version of Aragon coming out?
No. Oh, that's gonna be
like the illustrated Harry Potters.
I can't wait. gonna be gorgeous.
November 7th.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we could have. I wonder if we could have Christopher Paolini sign it.
I know, that was my plan too. I'm gonna bring all my Aragon books and be like, oh,
blood stains.
Right? Like, I love your books. Oh my gosh.
Can't wait. That's great news.
I know. I'm really excited. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. We'll see you in the next one for Inheritance. It'll probably be in a couple weeks. So keep your eye out for the live show and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.